Hello creeps! Andy here. I cut off all my hair and I was not expecting it to be this short. It's fine, I'm not gonna cry about it, it'll grow out, but just please don't leave me any mean comments. Anyways, so today I have another horror book haul for you, and I hope that you guys don't mind that I have a few of these back to back, but I did buy a lot of books in October and I'm really excited to show them to you. So hopefully you don't mind. But let's just kind of jump into it. And I was just going to do one giant horror haul, but a few of you had said that you prefer smaller ones, so that's why I'm still kind of breaking it up. But this was for my half off fiction sale at my local bookstore during October, so cheap horror books. The first one I got was called Chill by Jory Sherman. And it says, a psychic investigator discovers a sleeping beauty in a coma, an incredible tale of cold terror. And I just thought it looked so interesting. This was $1. It reminded me of this horror movie that I just recently watched. I can't remember what it was called. Oh, The Night That Evelyn Came Out of the Grave or something like that. This is kind of what it reminded me of. Anyways, the back says, there was green slime, there were creeping vines, there was a Louisiana mansion haunted by a malevolent and vibrating force, more powerful than its inhabitants whose terrifying history remained buried in 18th century France. There was a young girl of Virginia beauty who slept, some called it a coma, in that mansion, and in her dream she was possessed by the demonic ancestors who plagued the house and the land. There was Chill, who had come for a birthday party and stayed to perform an exorcism. I don't know, this sounds really interesting for $1. It looks so cool. Let me know if you guys have ever seen this book. I've never heard of it before, but isn't that so cool? That's why I love this bookstore, finding books for $1 that you'd never heard before, but that are pretty cool books. So this one is called And the Hippos Were Boiled in Their Tanks. This is a novel by Jack Kerouac and William Burroughs. So I had bought a William Burroughs book kind of recently. I haven't read it yet, but it sounds so interesting, and it kind of, his writing style reminded me of like a Hunter S. Thompson kind of book, or even like a Bukowski type book where it's like nonfiction and fiction kind of mixed together. So this one says, in the summer of '94, a shocking murder rocked the fleeting beats. William S. Burroughs and Jack Kerouac, both still unknown, were inspired by the crime to collaborate on a novel, a hard-boiled tale of bohemian New York during World War II, full of drugs and art, obsession and brutality, with scenes and characters drawn from their own lives. Finally published after more than 60 years, this is a captivating read, an incomparable literary artifact, and a window into the lives and art of two of the 20th century's most influential writers. So this one was $2.50. I thought it sounded interesting. It always interests me when people write books together because I just can't comprehend how that works, but it sounds interesting. I love that blend of fiction, nonfiction, so I'm excited to read this guy. So I got another Bret Easton Ellis. This one is called Less Than Zero. This is the author of American Psycho, and you guys know I've been on a little bit of a Bret Easton Ellis kick this year. This one was $2.50, and it says, set in Los Angeles in the early 1980s, Less Than Zero has become a timeless classic. The coolly mesmerizing novel is a raw, powerful portrait of a lost generation who has experienced sex, drugs, and dissatisfaction at an early age. No, at too early an age, in a world shaped by casual nihilism, passivity, and too much money, in the city devoid of feelings or hope. So this sounds very interesting. Let me know if you guys have read this. But I do hear a lot of people talking about how great of a writer Bret Easton Ellis is, and I'm excited to explore him more. Did I already say this was $2.50? I don't know. Okay, next up we have The Bone Keeper. This is by Luca Veste. Why am I so dumb? Why can't I read anything? This says, the little tagline is, don't go down to the woods today. Let's see what the back says. It just says, he'll slice your flesh, your bones he'll keep, the bone keeper's coming and he'll make you weep. What if the figure that haunted your nightmares as a child was real? 20 years ago, 4 teenagers went exploring into the local woods trying to find the supposed home of the bone keeper. Only 3 returned. Now a woman is found wandering the streets, horrifically injured, claiming to have fled the evil urban myth. And then a body turns up. This kind of sounds like Alex North's Shadows. I think that's what it was called. I read a book this year that sounds quite similar to this one, so I'm excited to read this. It sounds interesting. I love anything about woods and creepy urban myths and legends, and I don't know how this one is written, but a lot of these stories are very you walk a fine line between an urban legend and reality in these books, so I'm excited to see kind of which way this book plays out. This one was $2.50 again. I'm not sure if I said that, but yeah, that sounds interesting, right? And then the next one I got was Stephen King's Different Seasons. And this is just one of the greatest short story writers of all time, a spellbinding collection of 4 novellas bound together by the changing of seasons, each taking on the theme of a journey with striking different tones and characters. Different Seasons begins with Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, in which an unjustly prisoned convict seeks a strange and startling revenge, the basis of the best motion picture of Shawshank Redemption. Next is Apt Pupil, the inspiration for the film of the same name, about top high school student Todd Bowen and his obsession with the dark and deadly past of an older man in town. In The Body, which I just bought, I guess I should have checked this a little bit more, but that's okay. It says 4 rambunctious young boys plunge through the facade of a small town and come face to face with life, death, and intimations of their own mortality. This novella became the acclaimed movie Stand By Me. And then finally, a disgraced woman is determined to triumph over her death in the breathing method. I think the last one is the reason why I bought this specific book, but anyways, this one was $2.50 as well, and I'm always down to read more Stephen King, and especially novellas, because Stephen King, like the larger novels, do take me quite a long time to get through, and so I have a lot that I want to read. Like, I want to read The Stand so bad. I have not read that one yet, but they just take me so long, and then that's like a month worth of books that I can't read. Can anybody relate? I think I'm the slowest reader ever, especially for making videos about books and watching the other people that I follow make videos, and they're like, I read 378 books this week, and I'm like, what? I read one. But anyways, excited to dive into this. Let me know which novella from that is your favorite. Next up, I got this. It's called 172 Hours on the Moon, a novel by Johann Harstad. It's the opportunity of a lifetime if they make it back alive. There's a reason we never went back. It's been decades since anyone set foot on the moon. Now 3 ordinary teenagers, the winners of NASA's unprecedented worldwide lottery, are about to become the first young people in space and change their lives forever. Mia, and then it gives like a little description about each person and where they're from. It says it's an opportunity of a lifetime, but little do they know that something sinister is waiting for them on the desolate surface of the moon. And this chilling adventure, set in the most brutal landscape known to man, highly acclaimed Norwegian novelist Johann Harstad creates a vivid and frightening world of possibilities that we can only hope never come true. So this one I think was actually in the horror section. It's obviously a mixture of nonfiction or science fiction and horror, but it was in the horror section, so I'm thinking that the horror is kind of ramped up in this book. This was $2.50, and I gotta say, I really haven't read too many space books that I can think of. I read a few science fiction-y type things, but I am a sucker for any movie, any horror movie, any thriller movie that takes place in space. Every single one I will watch. So when I saw this book, I thought, I might actually really enjoy reading instead of watching a movie like that. So I'm really excited to dive into this one. Again, so my last video I was talking about how a lot of the cool books from the dollar store, you get writers from other countries. And so this is really cool. This is a Norwegian writer. That's really awesome that I'm able to find stuff like that even at my used bookstore. So yeah, what do you guys think about this one? Does it sound interesting? Are you guys into like sci-fi type space stuff? Are you guys just strictly horror? What's your favorite category of horror? Next up, I have this one. This one's not horror. It's just called The Beat Book, Writings from the Beat Generation. Oh, it says William S. Burroughs in here, which is cool. I was thinking more like Allen Ginsberg-y type books, or stories or poetry or whatever it is in here. Okay, so we actually have both writers from this book in this book. Isn't that interesting how that always happens? Oh, it actually has a foreword by Allen Ginsberg, so that's cool. Oh, Lawrence Ferlinghetti. So there are a lot of names that I recognize and a lot that I don't, so I'm really excited to read into this. I'm not sure if these are all just poems or short stories or what have you. It looks more like poems, most of it, but I don't know, there's some longer pieces in here too. So yeah, I'm excited to read this. I think this will be interesting. Are you guys fans of poetry? Do you guys get books that are anthologies of sort of like different eras of poetry, or is that something that you guys skip out on? But I do have one more book for you, and that is actually already on the shelf because it fit too well while I was doing my bookshelves that I had to put it up. This is the last, oh jeez, come on, you little thick lady. Okay, this is the last book that I got from this haul, and this is called Classic Tales of Science Fiction and Fantasy, and this was $10. Oh, look at beautiful. So now I have a science fiction one. I've got horror, plenty of horror books of these. And then I also have some mystery type ones too. So these anthologies are just my favorite. I mean, they do have like H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, H.P. Lovecraft, like your typical type of stories in here. But come on, this is such a fantastic book. I am so in love with this. Oh, it's so beautiful. There are some stories that I definitely have in here. I have The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, and I have A Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure I have that H.P. Lovecraft story because I have a whole anthology of his. But even still, just the cover of this is so amazing that I had to pick it up. It's so beautiful. Oh, I just love this book so much. Tell me that this is not one of the most beautiful books you've ever seen. So this is the last book that I got. This one was $10, a little bit more than the others, but I think totally worth it. So that is my horror slash, I guess, a little bit of sci-fi slash other books. There's always one or two random non-horror books thrown in these, I feel like. I have one other book haul of books that I picked up from October, so that will probably be posted within the next week or two. I also have a lot of other videos coming up. I want to show you the venue that I got married at because it's so beautiful. I want to show you all the horror that was in our wedding. So I do have a lot of videos coming up. I just have to get to work. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you. I'm going to try to post 3 times a week now. Fingers crossed that I can actually do it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you then with another horror video. Bye guys.